Here is vlog update number 7. I am a little less than 4 weeks out from my competition. It's August 5th. I don't even know. I don't. Yeah, it's August 5th, which is a Tuesday. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Whatever day it is you're watching this on. Probably put this out when I'm done. Just getting some laundry done, and yeah, we'll go from here. So, as far as check-ins went this week, I had some posing practice over the weekend with Coach Jeff. Uh, it went a little bit rough. I mean, I'm not the best poser yet. I'm getting there, practicing, trying to make improvements, but we found some cues that are going to help me uh, kind of one, relax a little bit while I am actually posing, but then two, also to remember how to position my body that is going to be able to present it in the best way possible. So when I was practicing, he noticed I had a tendency to kind of like bunch up and ball up and not really open up my physique the way that it should, as far as to make it presentable, right? And kind of the whole sport of bodybuilding in general is this illusionary presentation of the athlete's physique. And I say that because it's a subjective sport, and so you do have to meet certain criteria and such, right? Like if you're not conditioned enough, then you're just not conditioned enough. If you uh, don't have enough muscle to really show off, then you're in a category that is not going to be, um, maybe as a novice, that's okay, but as an open or something like open competitor, you want some muscularity or at least some decent muscularity so that you're competitive, right? If you're just doing it just to kind of get it, the taste of it, then that's different, right? And then your why's a little bit different. But I'm gonna keep trying to pull it back real quick. Let's go. I tend to ramble, so anyway, I made a quick video about that, about like what bodybuilding is looking for and kind of like the categories. So I can go into more detail about that if you're interested. I'm going to post it on YouTube. It was on my Instagram stories. So I'll put the whole thing up here at some point. But back to posing practice. Anyway, yeah, I need to practice more, just get better at it. But yeah, making improvements there, practicing every morning. Need to increase the time because on stage, they do keep you up there for a while sometimes. And the federation that I'm competing in is known for, the WNBF is known for keeping competitors up there and putting them through their paces as far as posing goes, moving them around, rearranging, and so on and so forth. And so obviously, if I want to do well, I need to be able to handle that repetitive, uh, repetitive posing. So everything else, as far as diet goes, no adjustments yet. We were going to do a little bit of an adjustment, but as far as his call on that, I think gauging on my fatigue level and how I'm feeling and progressing, he decided to kind of just keep things where they are right now, which I believe I'm still in a deficit. I think I'm looking leaner. Scale weight is a little bit more stagnant, but maybe uh, might have, go next week rather than push it down this week. So we'll see. Um, I know that my fatigue level, like I mentioned, has gone up physically. The mental side, not as bad. I think because my sleep is improving. But yeah, I mean, there are these weird, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but there are these weird neurological symptoms of being in a deficit. High cortisols kind of give you this racing thoughts-ish, anxiety, kind of paranoia, randomness, and that's kind of what keeps you up, what gets you up if you can't sleep a full night. And then it's this crappy, I guess, positive feedback loop or negative feedback loop. in some regards because yeah, you get you have crappy sleep, mind starts racing, you stay up, but then you can't go to sleep as or I go to sleep pretty easily, but you can't stay asleep as easily. And so there's this repetitive cycle that happens. But I actually started taking KSM 66, which is a version of ashwagandha, which is supposed to help with cortisol. And I've taken it before, and I noticed it did help with sleep. And so I started it 2 days ago, and I don't know if it's a placebo or whatever it is, but I feel like I've gotten more restful sleep over these last few nights. So, hey, it is what it is. If it's a placebo or it's actually working, I don't think it really matters because, you know, they work. If it works, it works. So that's been a positive. I haven't really changed any of my other supplements, which I just kind of take. I say normal, which probably for most people might be excessive, but magnesium glycinate, that's always in rotation. Multivitamin, fish oil, that's always there. Creatine's always there. Um, I think, oh, I take NAC, which is just a kind of like a overall liver support and metabolism kind of free radical support's going to help you just process things a little bit better, a little bit supposed to help metabolism as well, or like I said, liver metabolism, so where a lot of your metabolic processes happen. And let's see, I think that melatonin from time to time, I don't like taking it very frequently, and I usually take around 2 to 3 milligrams uh, at a time. 5 milligrams is a little bit much for me, at least. You know, you guys know I'm a lightweight, so if you're bigger, probably may not impact you as much. But yeah, between 2 and 3 grams, and usually only if I'm really, really having multiple nights of bad sleep in a row. I don't want to become where that doesn't work for me and then also dependent on it. So, and then phosphatidylserine, which is supposed to help with cognition and kind of brain fog, which I'm not experiencing, thankfully. The carb, again, I mentioned a couple times, the carb readjustment around workout has definitely helped. And I've noticed that, yeah, I've gotten used to having higher carb and being able to regulate my appetite. I'll tell you again, the best way for me, at least, to stop from wanting more and more carbs, especially when you're restricting how much you have, is finish off with the savory item versus finishing off with the sweet item. And which is a little bit counterintuitive because I do finish my nights with a sweet, but it's already because that's making me full because I usually have my dinner and then my creamy or my dinner and then my yogurt and fruit or something like that, which fullness in your stomach, that volume also can signal satiety, which it works for me. But sometimes if you notice that it's actually making it worse for you, then I would say start with your dessert. If you are someone like me who has a sweet tooth, start with your dessert and end on savory. I do that throughout the day with my carbs. I usually will eat my carbs first. Um, but yeah, I mean, as far as what's next, meal planning, meal prepping, it's not super close as of yet. I'll probably wait till mid-September to really get down to a meal plan. I know another calorie drop is probably in order, and whenever that happens, as my calories drop, I get stricter and stricter on my meal timing, or, well, yes, meal timing, but meals in general. So I won't have these elaborate meals. I'll have less of them and just kind of stick with it. I might do like once a week versus like usually on the weekend. I'll cook pretty much all day, like at least a lunch and a breakfast or a lunch and a dinner where they're pretty involved meals, but I enjoy cooking. It does help also eat up some time and keep me on my feet versus just kind of sitting down on the couch. And that's another thing, neat, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. You do notice as you get leaner, or I notice at least, that there are ways that I try and keep from expending calories, whether that's leaning on something or just finding some way to not get up if I don't have to. Uh, but again, that's why it's important to keep a step tracker because at least you can make sure that you're getting your steps in consistently, regardless of how you avoid it throughout the day. So if you have that, it kind of helps maintain a higher level of NEAT. And for me, that's probably what's kept me able to kind of, I think, have a higher calorie intake in general for my body size because I'm one of those people that even if I am in a calorie deficit, as soon as I get food or yeah, any kind of nutrition, I'm already fidgeting and like my body wants to use it a lot, which is why in the growth season or improvement season, off season, so on and so forth, whatever you want to call it, um, I can have a high calorie intake because I have a hard time sitting still in general if I'm fed. I just naturally move a lot. So some people don't, and that's that people are like, well, I have a fast metabolism. It's not really the metabolism. And again, take it for what it is. I'm not a doctor or dietitian or anything like that, but it's from what I've seen, it has nothing to do with your metabolism. It's just the type of or the way that your body utilizes energy once it gets it. If some people, they're gonna just kind of be sedentary, just that's their normal state of being, regardless of whether they're fed or not. And for others like myself, if I'm if I'm getting food in, I'm probably going to be moving around. I'm going to be fidgeting, and that's not necessarily like moving around and doing stuff, but I shake my leg, wag my leg, move my foot, rearrange, shuffle, and like I've been called out before, and I don't even notice I'm doing these things. Like I'm just tapping my foot or whatever, and I'm just fidgety. And so all of those things are what make up NEAT, the non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is a bulk or a good chunk, not the majority, but a good chunk of how many calories you burn throughout the day. So that's the way that I operate. Anyway, that was a little bit long, drawn out explanation. Training, um, going great, actually. I mean, I've been able to hit my numbers, stay consistent. Yesterday was a pretty good leg day. It got me fatigued. I've been um incorporating a little bit of more abs into the my leg days. So I'm doing abs 2 to 3 times a week, depending on how the rotation is. And also, I am slowly trying to bring back some form of a deadlift in there. Um, and I have transitioned into fully using the hip thrust as my hip thrust variation, switching from the hip extension. So I was doing a 45-degree hip extension with a glute and ham bias, and now I'm just using the hip thrust solely because I am at the gym, the Anytime Fitness off Hausman, by the way, if you're watching this, come check me out. But yeah, that hip thrust machine there, the glute builder, I think it's the glute builder brand, is awesome. I love that hip thrust machine. I'm not the strongest at it. My glutes are definitely a weak point, but hopefully I'll be able to bring them up over the next couple of years after I take a long off season. Um, yeah, so that's training. Uh, Outside of that, like how am I doing personally? I know that this at this point in prep, I start having these weird habits. I think all competitors start kind of getting into this weird eating style, food focus, and thinking about food. Thankfully, it's been the same. I haven't been super, super food focused. When I get that way, I notice more because I start watching more YouTube food videos to try and live vicariously through that. I hit that point earlier, but that kind of went away. And it's weird. It's just like this innate thing in me. I don't know if you guys experience it too, but yeah, that hasn't happened recently. So that's cool. But as far as like, again, I don't know if it's competitors in general or just me, where I have this feeling of trying to stay productive all the time, or maybe it's like a, I don't know, rise and grind bullshit, millennial Gen Z type of mentality that I'm stuck with, unfortunately. But like just relaxing and just taking time to do stuff for myself is very difficult. So I, obviously want to build this channel, provide content and value and insight. And so like that's in the back of my head wanting to produce that, but then at the same time it's like, okay, do I just relax and like just watch TV and veg out for a little bit? So it's trying to find this balance of, and I'm going to check the camera, make sure that it's recording. Okay, yes it is. Thank goodness. So, um, yeah, it's trying to find this balance of how to unplug, relax, and just chill out, but at the same time provide value and content and things that I like to do. I like to do reviews, I like to do perfume reviews, I like to do product reviews, just like cooking stuff and all of these things that I enjoy doing. But you know, I I don't I see it as fun and entertaining for myself, and I have a good time doing it. But in this state of being tired and fatigued all the time, it is work, right? If I was like in a surplus, oh man, it wouldn't be as much of a big deal because I have fun doing it and everything. But it's like, how do I balance that? And I'm just talking to myself, right? I mean, talking to y'all, but just like in my head, this is what's going on. It's like, how do I balance relaxing and letting my body just rest, but also doing the things that I like, which are a form of work and stuff. So I'm just trying to incorporate all of that together and find a nice harmony. Because I don't believe in general, I've probably said it before, in this word of a balance. Like, I don't think in general life is balanced. And I think when people are really trying to fight for a balance in life, that's more, at least speaking from experience, that's more of a stressor. It's like, oh, it's almost just as much of a stressor um, as just regular day-to-day stuff because you're like, oh, I'm overworking or oh, I'm relaxing too much or whatever. It's like, no. How about a better term is harmony? Let's find a harmony between everything. So how can I blend everything so that I'm not fighting against myself or anyone or anything, and it's just this flow. And it sounds very like Eastern and Buddhist, which I described as some of those beliefs. Actually, a lot of them, just kind of being in this like go with the flow, don't fight the stream, right? Go with the stream. But again, the paradox is doing that too much and relaxing too much. So again, that's where harmony is. Sometimes one's up, one's down, sometimes it's kind of in the middle, but there's never really a balance because life keeps moving. We are not, stagnant and just kind of, again, accept it and go with the flow. So, again, getting rambly, if you can tell, I tend to kind of go into that philosophy zone, which is again another interest of mine. So as you kind of get to know me, you'll hopefully see my personality come out a little bit more, which is what I'm working on, trying to incorporate all of the things I like into a couple of channels, so that if you resonate with something, that maybe you can go check out, perfume channel or just like maybe a philosophy and history channel because that's my background as far as like education, or maybe like communication and sales and stuff because that's again kind of like my professional background, or training and fitness. Stick with this and cooking because I love all of it. And I appreciate you guys watching from the bottom of my heart. I know that these videos are long, and if you stuck with me to this point, then you really did want to, hopefully got some value out of it, or whatever. Maybe I'm entertaining. I don't know. But I'm going to wrap this up at this point, and I will see you on the next one. Hopefully, not 11 days later, a little bit sooner than that. As we get closer to contest days, I'm going to continue to try and record on the spot and upload them unedited like this one. See you then.